Hi everyone and welcome to day 13 of the July colouring challenge. Once again it is late at night and everyone is asleep, so you're going to have to deal with my dulcet tones speaking in a very hushed voice. Okay, so we have a hot dog today, and this particular reference image was found on Google, and I thought that this was a really good reference to show all the difference in tones of browns and things like that on the bread. And I did say that we were going to make it realistic, so let's give it a shot. Now the thing is, I know that I said I wouldn't use Prismacolors loads because not everyone has Prismas, and I do get an awful lot of comments, people telling me to use something different than Prismas, so I always feel a little bit reluctant to use them a lot. But they have one of the largest pencil ranges. They also are very familiar to me, so I can sort of look at this hot dog bun and know pretty much off the bat which colours I want to use. So when I'm going for something that I want to emulate from a photograph or look sort of slightly realistic, I will default to Prisma because I just know them so well and it's easier for me. So with that being said, let's get the Prismas out. So just looking at this hot dog bun, I'm seeing a little bit of, I don't know whether it's mineral orange or pumpkin orange, but I am definitely seeing that at the bottom there. So if I just get those two colours and give them a test. So this tiny weeny one is, I think, pumpkin orange. Let me just check for the mineral orange. I'm not even sure where that is. I think that's gone walkies, to be honest. I wonder if I've got them in the spares. I'm sorry that you guys have to wait while I get organised. Let me just check the spares. Do we have a pumpkin orange? Please say yes. What's this one? Cadmium orange. Pumpkin orange. And then I did say mineral orange, didn't I? Which I also can't find. Yeah, this is pumpkin orange, which I had the little stump of, but it's the mineral orange that I can't find. So I need to try and find a mineral orange. What's this? Another pumpkin orange. How come you can have multiple spares and then can't find what you're looking for? Here we go, mineral orange. So just looking at this, it might be a case of using both actually, because one is lighter than the other. So let me just swatch them out on my little sheet. So this is the pumpkin orange, very vibrant orange colour. And then this is the mineral orange, which I think is the one. I think that's the one that we're going to use for the majority of the base of the bun. And then I'm looking at this and I'm seeing goldenrod. So there we go, there's the goldenrod. Hopefully you can sort of marry this together and see where I'm going with the colours. I'm barely even on screen, sorry about that guys. There we go, that's better. Yeah, you can see it all now. Sorry about that. Yeah, so goldenrod, and then I'm thinking something like jasmine maybe. Let me just see if that's too yellow. That might just be a bit too yellow. What do we have that's along the same lines? Let's have a look at the yellow ochre. Yeah. So goldenrod, then yellow ochre. It's looking sort of like a brownie peach, a very light brownie peach, and I'm just wondering what we've got for that. I'm just going to look through the colours a sec. I mean, I think this would be too peach. Yeah. There is a bit of that colour actually. I'll leave it out just in case. And then something that's quite light, so almost creamish. I mean cream. Maybe we can do something with the peach and the cream that will help. But let me just check the light peach actually, because that might serve us better than the peach. It's not got as much orange in the light peach, so we'll stick with that. And I'm just going to check this beige sienna for a sec. Yeah, that's just far too brown. I think that's it. I think the seashell peach will be too brown as well. Yeah, okay, let's get on with it and see what we can make out of these colours. Now it is quite dark down here, it's definitely darker than the mineral orange that we've got here, so maybe I'm going to need some grey as a shadow. Now we're using warm colours, so we'll use warm greys. That's the general rule. And I'm not sure whether this one will be a little bit too dark. Maybe if we're light with it, we'll be okay. This is the 50% warm grey. So I'll leave that to one side for shading. Let's get colouring before I talk myself out of it. Okay. So we're on screen, everything's good. Let's go. So I'm going to start off with that mineral orange. That was the first colour that we chose. And just looking at this bun here, the majority of the shadow is at the bottom. And I'm going really light with this because I do not want to go in heavy-handed. So the majority of the darkness is at the bottom. We've got a nice layer of that on there at the bottom. And I'm just going to gradiate it up. So coming in now with the goldenrod. Using very, very light pressure, just tickling the paper with the pencil. Then we've got the yellow ochre. I'm sort of keeping this slightly curved banana shape of the bun. And then we've got the peach and the cream. So I'm just going to add a bit of this peach and see how it blends in with the rest of the colours once we start layering it up. And then we'll put the cream at the top. So that's our first layers done on this side of the bun. Now, I don't know if I want to go in with my grey just yet. I think we'll put another layer down of all the colours first. So the mineral orange. It's going slightly harder with this, but you can still see the tooth of the paper. And there isn't a great deal of tooth on this because it is bog standard printer paper, so that's how light we're doing the layers, that there's still tooth showing on layer 2. That hopefully gives you an idea of how light of a pressure to use. And then we've got the goldenrod again. The yellow ochre. Oops, I've gone a little bit hard with that there. And then the peach. I'm still keeping the peach layer quite light. Finally, the cream. Okay, so I want to come in with, I think, one last layer and then shading, because it's not looking smooth at the moment. Now at this point we could use a blending solution or a blending pencil. As I've said before, I do like to do my blending with the pencils themselves so we don't lose the smoothness of the texture or the saturation of the colour. So using the sharper side of the mineral orange, we'll get a bit more colour payoff. And still using that same medium pressure. We've still got a slight bit of tooth left. which will be good for our shading, because I think I will need to come over it again with the mineral orange after we've done our grey, because I don't want the grey to sort of overtake the orange. So goldenrod, we can sort of use harder pressure now to blend that. Hopefully I haven't got a glare, just check, no. Yellow ochre. And the peach. I don't know why the peach is working as well as it is. It just seems to be just softening up the colour of the bread a little bit so that it's not too orange. It's got a slight pink tinge to it, which this does to my eye. Okay, so we've got the peach and then finally the cream, which you can do quite hard now. This is going to be the final layer for the cream. And you can even use this cream to just go slightly further down and act as your blending pencil. Okay, fairly happy with that. Now we come in with the scary grey. This is the 50% warm grey, and I'm using the flat side because I don't want there to be any sharp marks. And we'll just do a slight bit of shading just right at the bottom. That's layered quite nicely over that mineral orange. I am going to come in and just do a final application of that over the grey, because I don't want to lose it all together. Okay, what do we think? I'm just wondering whether it needed something slightly more brown at the bottom there rather than the grey, but let's leave it for a bit and do the other side, and then I can decide a bit better. So looking at our reference image, we would have a little bit of the white inner portion of the bread showing at this angle. So I might try and do that. Let's do the outer edge of the bun first, and then we can think about the colours for the bread. So using that mineral orange, I can see that there is a dark area sort of here, and then we go out to kind of light. Now this isn't the exact same angle, so I'm just going to play it by ear. So we've got our mineral orange, and just trying to remember that this is going to be bread on the inside, so we're just doing a slight crust of it now. Goldenrod. I'm not sure how much room we're going to have for all of our colours. For a bit of yellow ochre at either end. And I'm just going to skip the peach for now because of the limited space that we've got, and just do the cream. So just for purposes of making it look equally saturated, I'm going to put a bit of that grey over the mineral orange, and hopefully they should match quite well top and bottom now. I am just going to put a slight bit more goldenrod here just to define shape a little bit. And then we need to think about our bread colour. So we can use a cream for this. I'm looking also at the eggshell, which if I just get my paper, we can see how that compares to the cream. So the eggshell is actually quite orangey, which, yeah, I forgot it was that orangey actually. So it probably wouldn't do all that well for bread. Let me see. I mean, even like a bit of a French grey, you know, could do for those shadows, I think. So maybe if I just get, let's say, what's this one? 30% French grey. That could do for bread shadows. And then maybe that mixed with the cream. That might do a breadish look. So I'm just going to get the shadows of the hot dog and the sauce coloured with this 30% French grey. Just a really light bit there. And then if we just kind of put little bits of this French grey here and there, it might look like the little air pockets that you get in bread, the little air bubbles. And then we'll just put some cream over that. I think maybe I might get a really thin pen. This is a 0.05 and just define this little bit of crust that we've created, just so you can see it is separate from the bread, and that might make the eye understand what this is a little bit easier, understand what our grey and cream bit is. So maybe if I just add a little bit more of that here and there. I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. This is all an experiment. There we go. Okay, next up, I'm just thinking if we put a little bit of white gel pen, very, you know, little bits here and there over that bread, will that help to give the look of it having little air pockets in it? I don't know. I don't know. The hot dog itself, so this is a very orangey looking thing, isn't it? It immediately reminds me of cadmium orange hue, so I'll get that one out. I've got some of the chrome from this sword, the chrome paint flying everywhere. Okay, so this is cadmium orange hue, which is a very vibrant orange, but I think we might be able to tone it down a little bit. Also, that mineral orange really does match quite well to the tone of the hot dog, doesn't it? So maybe we'll use a little bit of this cadmium for the more saturated orangey areas, and then we can use the mineral orange, and I'm just thinking what a lighter colour of that might be. Let me just test this salmon pink. Yeah, I think that's going to be our combo for this. So we've got that cadmium orange hue, which is really quite bright, so we don't want to go mad with it, and we can put that here sort of underneath the sauce as a shadow. But you can see as the light gets towards the tip of the hot dog here, it's quite light, and we can also try and put those little sausage wrinkles in the end. We could try it anyway. So cadmium orange hue, and then the mineral orange. I'm going to go over that completely with the mineral orange because that's going to dull it down. But at the same time, it's still going to be a bit darker than anywhere else we put the mineral orange. I think also we can afford to just colour these bits in with the mineral. And then this salmon pink can be our lightest part of the hot dog. So it's just about, I mean, if you know the colours really well, if you know the palette that you're using really well, you'll just be able to know straight off the bat what colours will probably work well together. And that's just what I did here, to be honest. Just looking at this, I think it might need a bit more of this cadmium orange. And then I'm just going to try and do these bits of sausage wrinkles. I'm being very careful with how I word this. Sausage wrinkles. We are going to need something a little bit darker for those as well. I wonder if this warm grey would help. This is the part where I need something really, really skinny and like a fine liner. Because I don't know if that's done what we want it to do. But there's also quite a lot of highlight on this as well. So maybe if our white gel pen can come in and separate some of those. I don't know. I don't know if it works or not. But I just want a little bit of a highlight there, which I'll just achieve by putting some white gel pen down and patting it off with my finger just to make a bit of a highlight. And I don't think we need a highlight anywhere else. Maybe this end could do with a little bit. But it's not very, very shiny or glossy. I just want to create the lightness a little bit. So yeah, like I said, I don't know whether they look wrinkly enough. Maybe we've put a little bit of micron, again the 005, just to define the wrinkle a little bit. And just keeping the curvature of it as well, so that it looks like it's curving up from the end. Hopefully that looks all right. Now the sauce. So we can choose a red sauce or a mustard. Let's go for a mustard. So we've already got our yellow ochre out, which is my go-to sort of mustardy colour. So if we pick a lighter colour than that, maybe a Deco yellow. Let's just test it. So there's the Deco yellow and the yellow ochre next to each other. I think that'll be quite a nice sauce. So let's just fill it all in with Deco yellow, and then we can put some little shadow areas. So generally we want the shadows to fall in the dips of the sauce, kind of in the same place on every part of the wave. And then we can blend that out again with the Deco yellow. Oh, someone's up. So we've got some light shading on there, but it still looks yellow, which is good. I don't think we need to deepen those shadows up anymore, but I might just use a slight bit of mineral orange in the very centre of the shadow. And it really is a very slight bit. It's looking more waxy than anything, to be honest. Just to deepen up the shadows slightly. Anybody else's teenagers just sound like elephants when they're walking around upstairs? I swear to God, this ceiling's going to cave in one day. Okay, so we've got a nicely shaded bit of sauce, and this can be quite glossy and have a gloss on it, so that is my excuse this time for white gel pen. I don't know sort of what good it's going to do, if it's going to add to the effect. Hopefully it will. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could probably white out the edges of that sauce, but I don't know if I want to. I don't want to ruin it. Okay, so I just want to add in a few little more shadows underneath the sauce here with the warm grey that we used already. And that will just lift the sauce off of the hot dog a little bit. And we've got a bit of shadow down here from the bun, but not a lot. I don't want to completely overtake the work that we've done on the hot dog. Where else? Where else? Maybe just a slight bit more where we put that French grey. It's probably a bit too much. Just get that cream and push that back a little bit. Okay, anywhere else? Anywhere else? Anywhere else? Nope. I think that's pretty good. So hopefully you also agree that that is not too shabby for a semi-tiny bit, small, very miniature bit of realistic colouring. So we need a background colour for this now. And when I see hot dogs, I always think of like 50s diner. So maybe if we type in 50s diner colours, I've just got to take this off thingy bob mode, otherwise known as airplane mode. And then we'll type in 50s diner. I know you can't see what I'm doing it off screen. 50s diner. So this is what we've got. Obviously you've got black and white checkerboard, which actually might work really well. We've also got red and white checkers, which could be cool, and they'll also make the hot dog look a little bit more orangey. So if we go for the black and white checker in the background, it's going to make the hot dog look a bit more reddish, and if we go for the red in the background, it will start to make the hot dog look a bit more orangey. So I think it might be cool to do the red and white, so that's what we'll do. So we'll create our own checkerboard effect. I am going for permanent red, I think, or is that too orangey? Next one down is Scarlet Lake. I think we'll go for permanent red. And we'll create a bit of a checkerboard effect. Now, I really should do this with a pen first so that I don't mess up. So I'm going to get my 005 again, and have I got a ruler? I've got a large ruler to hand. So let's try and do a bit of a small checkerboard maybe, because we don't have a lot of room to work with. So we're going to need quite small squares. So that's our horizontals done, and they're definitely not straight, but anyway. I don't want to put my ruler over that because I will smudge it. Absolutely terrible at smudging. So these really are very small checkerboards. I might actually need to use something else other than pencil. Yeah, so absolutely shockingly out of not in, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm absolutely terrible thinking of words. It's definitely not straight, put it that way. So let me think what I can use for this. So we're doing red and white, so we don't have to worry about the white. I just need something thin and red. I guess I could just sharpen my pencil, or I could use a marker. Okay, let's see. I have got Copic marker here, R29 lipstick red. Now, yes, this is an alcohol marker, so it may bleed, and I may be doing the absolute wrong thing, but I think if we do it really carefully, we might be okay. So I'm not going to go right up to the edge because I know that we will get a little bit of it bleeding out anyway. And these are such juicy markers that it really, you've got no chance of keeping it in such a small space. I'm trying my best. We'll get the effect of it anyway. We've got the effect of the 50s diner. Looks like we're in a Five Guys, doesn't it? Can't beat a Five Guys. There we go. So we've got our red. I love that actually, looking at it now. It really does look awesome to have created a texture on the back that also goes with the subject of what we're doing. Okay, so I don't think I even need to do any touching up really. I think we'll leave it at that, guys. So really like this one actually. It's turned out quite well. I hope you agree. I'm going to zoom you out a little bit so that you can see it you know, next to everything else, and I think that's going to be my favourite so far. My favourite was the flamingo, and then obviously the sword, because that was really cool. But yeah, I think the hot dog is now my favourite purely because of that background as well. So once again, I hope you've enjoyed joining me for another daily challenge. Tomorrow is day 14, so we're almost to the middle of the month already, and it is an umbrella. So super simple. Let's see what we can do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.